One of the exciting things about new AI frameworks like LangChain is that we can now automate and scale specific business tactics that we couldn't automate before. In this video, we're going to have a look at one of those tactics. I'm going to show you how to use LangChain and OpenAI to implement, automate, and scale a brilliant marketing tactic pioneered by Jay Abraham. Jay Abraham is probably the world's leading marketing consultant, and he's also an exceptional copywriter. In a YouTube video I've linked to below, Jay Abraham reveals a completely free way to use Amazon.com review data to create powerful headlines, subheadlines, and copy for products you want to advertise. The tactic involves going to Amazon.com and looking for products relevant to your own offering. Find all the 5-star reviews and study what the customers are saying, and then use the words and tonality of those reviews in your copy in order to speak to the customers in their own language. In this video, we're going to automate this tactic using LangChain and language modeling. The automated tactic will have two components. The first component is a top-of-funnel tactic that uses GPT-4 to formulate general copy based on the reviews. This is what Jay Abraham is talking about. The second component uses a customer identifier, in this case an email, to remarket to existing customers via the LangChain Zapier integration. I'm going to build this with Zapier and Mailgun, but the cool thing about Zapier is that you can just switch out the email service provider and, for instance, use Gmail or SendGrid instead. The key LangChain lessons you'll get from this video is that you'll see how we extract relevant reviews with LangChain. You'll see how we pass on the extracted review data to the language model, and you'll see how LangChain and Zapier are used together as the ultimate personalization tool. To get started, we'll pip install the needed libraries and drop API keys and variables into an environment file. Links to the code and the data will be available below the video. Let's go. Alright, in the notebook, we're going to load the utilities. We need to extract the data and import the environment variables. I'm going to be using the same data as I did in the last video, which is the Amazon fashion review data. And we're going to be using the same product as well, which is the PowerStep Pinnacle Orthotic Shoe Insoles. And for those who haven't seen the last video, let me just show you what the data looks like. There's an overall score, which is the rating of the product. Then there's a review text, and there's an ID that allows us to tie this to a product. And the product is in the accompanying data set, which is in the data frame df meta. And there we have the title of the product. Then I'm going to take the review text and put that in a list. And I'm going to create a list of dictionaries with the review ratings that's going to go into vector storage as metadata. Then I'm going to import and initialize Pinecone for vector storage. And I'm going to use Hugging Face embeddings like we did in the last video. I've set up an empty index called voice on Pinecone. And now we can push the text embeddings with the metadata to Pinecone. And to do that, we use the list of review texts, we use the Hugging Face embeddings, we use the index name, and then we use the metadata. And pushing the metadata with the texts to Pinecone allows us to do filtered vector similarity search. Last time I did it in Pinecone directly, this time we do it in LangChain. And here we have all the documents matching the query. The PowerStep Pinnacle shoes are fantastic with a rating of 5. Okay, so now we're ready to automate Jay Abraham's tactic. I'm going to import prompt template. I'm going to import chat OpenAI, and I'm going to import load summarize chain, which is the chain we're going to be using to summarize the reviews and to write the copy. And then I'm instantiating a wrapped version of GPT-4. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to write a summary of the document we just retrieved. And to do that, we use load summarize chain with the chat model we just instantiated, with chain type stuff, and with a basic prompt template. And this is going to give us a GPT-4 generated summary of the reviews we just extracted with filtered vector similarity search. And here we have the summary. It's very positive, but remember we only extracted the 5-star reviews. All right, let's move on to the ad copy. We're going to write copy for a Facebook ad, and we're going to use the same chain type and the same type of template. So I'm going to ask GPT-4 to write copy for a Facebook ad, and I'm going to give it some restrictions in the number of characters. I think these character limits are up to date. And here we get the Facebook ad copy that reflects the positive customer reviews. I actually think it ignored my character limits. You can play around with the temperature of the language model. I used 0.2. Let's run this again to see what else we can get. And here we have a second version of the Facebook ad copy. And again, I think it went over the character limits. So I guess you have to be a bit more strict. You probably want a professional copywriter to look through these before they go into production, but this is going to help you scale your advertising across various platforms. All right, let's move on to the second component of the tactic, which is remarketing to existing customers. To implement this tactic, we'll need to set up Zapier's natural language actions. So go to nla.zapier.app, and then you click the first link, which will take you to the Getting Started page. And this is where you'll find your personal API key, which goes into the environment file, and also where you can set up your actions. If this is the first time you're setting this up, you need to give the demo app access to your Zapier account. Just click Allow. And of course, if you don't have a Zapier account, just get one. There's a free tier. To set up actions, you'll need to click Manage Actions, and then you'll see a pop-up window with your actions. I already have some actions here, but I'm going to click Add a new action to show you how it's done. And then you need to search for the app you want to use. We're going to be using Mailgun. We're going to choose Send Email, and then we'll click Connect New. And here we need a private API key that we're going to get from Mailgun. We need to choose a region. I'm going to choose the EU region. And we need to put in a domain name. I've set up a domain in Mailgun called mg.rapidpromotion.com. I've linked to the documentation on how to do this. If you don't have a Mailgun account, just get one. There's a free tier for that as well. Now we're going to get the API key, and to do that, we need to go to API security. And you'll need the private API key for Zapier. So I'm just going to type in the domain that I just set up on Mailgun, and then I'm going to paste in the private API key. And then you just click Continue. All right, back on Zapier's Get Started page, we can click Manage Actions, and we'll need to make sure that the action we just set up is active. So if we click on the action, we can see that we have the right account, the right domain. The from email is going to be benjamin@mg.rapidpromotion.com, and then we're just going to have AI guess the value for the remaining fields. In order to use the Zapier LangChain integration, we'll have to import Zapier Toolkit and Zapier NLA Wrapper. In order to define the agent that will write the email, we'll need to import initialize agent, and then we instantiate Zapier and the toolkit. To formulate the email, I've used good old Python placeholders. You could probably do this with LangChain templates. But to formulate the email, we need an email address, we need a name of the customer, we need the review that the customer gave, and then we're also going to include the overall summary of all the reviews. And of course, this Amazon review data doesn't have customer emails attached to it. It doesn't even have real names, so we're just going to fake that using the Python library Faker. So we're going to simulate a name and an email for every customer, and I'm using my own domain to create the email. And now we have everything we need to send out these personalized emails based on the reviews. So I'm going to instantiate the agent based on initialize agent, and I'm not going to use a chat model for this as they seem to be a bit too unstable. Instead, I'm using the default OpenAI language model. And then I'm just applying agent run and formulate email to the data frame. So here we see that the agent is crafting the emails. It's communicating with Zapier's natural language actions. It knows that it needs to use Mailgun to send the email. That's nice. And here we see the message has been queued, and in a moment it will be sent. Here we go. the message has been sent to Matthew. And now the agent is doing the next one in the data frame. And this one is for Gwendolyn Simpson. And that email is also being queued and then sent. Okay, I'm going to stop the apply function here. We're not going to go through all 4,000 reviews. Instead, we're going to head over to the inbox and see what it looks like. So this is my inbox with all these personalized messages based on the reviews. Let's find Matthew. And here we have the email to Matthew sent by LangChain and Zapier. So I've been testing this with various models, and it seems like the most stable one is the one we're using here, the default OpenAI model, which is the TextDaVinci 003. But the best one when it works is GPT-4. But at the time of this recording, it seems like GPT-4 is still being overloaded with requests, so it's not a stable solution at the moment. Alright, that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.